This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
What episode is this? We are 86.
Episode 86.
Yeah, I do know. I know math no good. Yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, it was such a build up to episode 83 because I wanted to, work in the 83 weeks joke that, after that I don't know what to do with myself anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we could just celebrate that that our show is more successful than the run of WCW Monday Nitro.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like they only lasted 83 weeks.
But. Right, but so it's like, you start the podcast, you're like, oh, can't wait for episode 69. And then what other numbers are there? There's 89, 83 weeks. I don't know. But I'm happy to be here. Another episode of Mind of the Meanie. We were chatting with the Patreon folks. Now that I know how to look at the comments after all these weeks we've been doing it, I was like, oh, what's this little square up here with the red? Oh, I can open it up and see the comments too. Yeah, I can have fun too. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's a cool morning, a little brisk Saturday morning here.
Yeah,
a little inside baseball as we record on a Saturday, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Still a little sore. I went and got my Van Halen tattoo redone.
Looked great from the videos on your social media. I saw that looked awesome.
Yes. Put on a fresh coat of paint. I was like, I really want to get this redone because, like, when you get tattoos, reds kind of fade and stuff like that. And I was like, I really got to get this done. I didn't know if I wanted to switch it up or kind of keep it the same. And, I got there and I was like, let's kind of keep it the same, just freshen it up, make it look better. I like the way it looked before, but, I like, my tattoo artist, Fred, a.k.a. Fredward. I like what he does, and, he's the master of redoing tattoos and stuff like that. So, we scheduled an appointment and did that, and he does this cool thing where he records it and then does a time lapse and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. It's still a little sore. I still got it wrapped up, just waiting for it to heal. And when we're done this, I'll probably go clean it up a little bit. But it's there's something about tattoos I love, and I love this tattoo. It's I was in the WrestleMania 2000 video game. If you take off my boots in the game, that you can see the tattoo. So I was like,
"It's awesome."
You know what? I have a tattoo that's in the video game. We should probably just keep it the way it is and just freshen it up a little bit.
What other tattoos when you remove your clothing in the WrestleMania 2000?
I don't know if maybe I got my right leg. I have a tattoo, which was my first tattoo dedicated to my grandfather, which, in hindsight, I should have probably went a little bit bigger. It was the first tattoo, so I was just like, I don't know what to do. But, that's probably just that one and the Van Halen one on my left ankle and stuff like that. But I'd have to go revisit that game just to see, in the Creator Wrestler.
Did you have the Bonehead one yet or no?
Well, you know what? That might be in there as well. Yeah.
So I'm going to say, do they know? I feel like, do they know their logos in the video game? Because that's awesome.
I would have to talk to Kevin, our boy Kev. And my boy Scott. Yeah, and Scott, who played bass, who I still, talk to. I'm friends with, I haven't seen Kevin in person in years, but like I still talk to Scotty, the bass player.
I haven't seen Kevin in years either. I'd imagine he is just as tall as he ever was.
He is a tall human.
He really is. He is a very tall guy. You probably don't look at this the same way that I do because you're actually tall. But, growing up wanting to be a pro wrestler and being the height that I am, which I don't want to spoil it too much because if you look at the Cella toys, there's been a whole lot of debate about why Bull Nakano is so tiny compared to all of the other figures. And nobody's talking about the fact that I'm taller than you and Aldous in figure form. So, although, hey, if it gets an even more pocket size, I like to think that my Cella Toys figure is in scale with all of the current like Mattel action figures, the ones that are the 7-inch tall ones. I think I'm perfect. You put me next to a Drew McIntyre, I'm perfectly in scale. But I would always look at guys like Kevin and just be like, I'd see like his height and just be like, why aren't you a wrestler? Like anytime I would see a guy that was like 6'1" or over, I would just look at him and be like, you could have pursued a career as a professional wrestler. You could have like what like. So I don't know if you ever thought that way, but I would always be like, oh man, what a waste of height. What a waste of height.
Yeah.
Like you're a guitar player. Why don't you just be my height and I'll be your height and I'll go be a wrestler? But
that's so funny. Yeah, he's a tall dude. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him in a while. I think Bonehead's still playing too. Still playing out, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Who's their lead singer? Jay. He's the one I've seen most recently. I bumped into him at a Wawa.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and I look at him and I go like, man, like he looks like he hasn't aged. And
no, he hasn't.
I'm just like I aged more in my conversation with him at Wawa than he has in the last 15 years. But no, it's a good. So yeah, Google Bonehead. What were they before Bonehead?
Well, they were Bonehead, and then they got signed.
Right. That's what it was. Bonehead, and then
Familiar 48.
Familiar 48, and then they went back to Bonehead, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like the wrestling business where they got signed, and then the person who signed them got fired, so they got rid of all the bands that person signed, pretty much. They
also got signed and changed their name. They became a Carrion Bonehead, and now they're back. And they went back to Killer Bonehead.
Yeah.
But hey, Meanie, so you were at the world famous Monster Factory recently.
Yeah, I've been going back here and there.
Was wondering.
I went back. What's that?
No. Please continue.
No. I that's stopped by last night and helped doing some coaching, watch some match review, give some pointers with Danny Cage over there, and it was a good time. It's fun to get back and talk to the young kids and try to help them out.
Are you seeing Are you seeing anyone? You don't have to say any names because you don't want to make anybody feel like they're not that person. Better make them feel like they are that person. But we've talked about the people who've come. So many people have come through there, and a lot of people have come through there that you had a hand in training. They were there in your time.
Yeah.
Do you see anybody now that you look at where you say like, I bet it's a matter of time before we see them wearing that gray property of Performance Center T-shirt?
One of our students has a tryout in a couple weeks.
Oh, very cool.
And we'll see how that goes. I don't want to jinx it, but hopefully that goes real well. There's a lot of young guys who are just it's like almost like a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fresh students there that are ripe for the training and the molding. So everybody's got potential.
Right.
Just a matter of pulling it out of them and helping them realize it as well.
Well, and that's serious. So you don't want to jinx it. Like, I feel like they'd have to really have a bad outing to have a bad experience at the tryout, because I feel like your worst case scenario is that you walk away having learned a ton of new things to be able to work on and apply to what you're doing. And you get to I remember experiencing this just from when I was doing just working backstage at different companies. Like, even if I was just a fly on the wall, you left that night knowing just that much more, just understanding the culture of it, understanding, what it is that they're doing there. So I feel like it's a really, really beneficial thing to just have that opportunity. But hey, and hopefully, best case scenario, it ends in a contract, right? So.
Yeah, and the good thing about the Monster Factory is we kind of have the heads up on, what their tryouts are down there. So before they even go down there, they're running the drills up here and stuff like that. And so, a lot of stuff that, like, if I don't know if I'd be able to. I'm sure a younger Blue Meanie, Brian Heffron, would be able to do it, but now I'm like, man, the things the kids have to go through now to train and stuff like that, it's like light years ahead of what I did. I just got in the ring, took a couple bumps, warmed up, and we just wrestled,
Yeah. You look at the stuff they put them through at the Performance Center because they want these athletes. Like, you look at that and you see just little clips of the training. And I used to think in OVW, like, they would kick our ass with, we were literally doing 1,000 squats and and people would be like, you weren't doing 1,000. It's like, well, first of all, I didn't do 1,000 in a row. It was they'd rotate through, but it would be like, all right, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups, 100, and then you go back again and do it. People were throwing up. Literally, I had a guy fall down next to me, never came back. And I remember vividly handing my money to Joey Matthews and him going, he's holding it and I'm holding it. And before I let go, he's like, this is your last chance. You don't get this back. Once I take this, literally, if he took it and I was like, you know what, this is a bad idea, he'd be like, well, sorry, I have your money. So he was making it very clear, there are no refunds. And I would always think about those people who just went and threw up. And it's like, dude, I went and threw up. I had one time where we were running the ropes. And, well, I shouldn't say I threw up. I wish I had thrown up. It was one of those awful dry heaving, nothing was coming up, but you're like, I need to throw up. Yeah. But we were doing a drill. We were running the ropes. And when they're like, all right, stop, I'm down, rolled out, and I just gave give me 1 second, went back into the bathroom, and I thought I was going to throw up immediately. But the people who never came back, it's that wasn't cheap. No. That was not but then I look at that, and then I look at the Performance Center stuff, and even the stuff that's going on in some other schools. I'm just like, dude, that's a walk in the park compared to what the Performance Center's putting them through. And, but that's what you need to do to get these top level athletes. But I can't picture, Gorilla Monsoon back in his wrestling days. I mean, he wasn't doing that training.
No.
He put a cigarette out and went to the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Had a little rock glass of bourbon he put down and just, all right, let's go do this. But yeah, I mean, it's the training they do down there is light years ahead of what I did. Yeah. And then, and the stuff the training they do at the Monster Factory is pretty much on par with what they do. Danny has them doing the same drills and exercises and stuff that, you want them to be prepared, well, also in shape, you just kind of, it's one thing to be, in a ring, wrestling with somebody and putting your life in your hands, and you go for a body slam and they're so gassed out they can't lift and they drop you on your head. So, you just want to make sure that they're in shape. But like I said, it's we got a good crop of folks over there training right now. Well, they're all new to me because I haven't been around in a while, just because with the pandemic and just life in general. But excuse me. It was fun to be in there last night. They did, after the drills and warm ups, did a couple matches and gave some of my opinions, and it was a good night. Good night overall.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, you've had some busy weeks lately in the wrestling business. To go from what's funny is like that was always your life, but like when you and I started this podcast, it was not a busy week. There was nothing. There was literally nothing for a year and a half, pretty much. So to see you doing this it's awesome, because you almost had, when we started this, it almost like gave off the appearance of like the retired Blue Meanie. because the world had shut down and you weren't doing anything. So it wasn't like we're talking to Meanie who's like, oh yeah, no, I got to make that shot on Saturday and got to do, like, it was just, hey, it's Friday afternoon. Why don't we just do a podcast? Because no one's going to work. No one's doing anything. So it's so cool now to see, you know, even if you kayfabe me for AEW, but it's so cool to just see that like you're very much not retired from the wrestling business, and it's awesome.
Very much sore.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I'm halfway through the Monster Factory story. I was like, man, I forgot to put my CBD roll-on that I just bought.
Well, if you need to take a break, go do that. I'm sure I have an ad read to do at some point. We can.
You'll see me do the I got to throw up, so I'm really just going to put my roll on.
Can we get that, whoever that is, if we can get the CBD roll-on people to sponsor? Yeah. And you can just live on the air, you can just roll it somehow. Does that really work? Like, I mean, obviously, if you're doing it, it really works, but like.
I just started it the other day. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's like 350 milligrams.
So, like, what is your, I mean, obviously, this doesn't have any effect mentally on you, right?
Oh no,
it's just a roll-on. So it's physically just, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I just like something's going on with my back. I don't know what the fuck it is. I think I need new shoes.
There's that bump off of the missile drop kick.
Yeah,
I saw that video.
Yeah, there's that. I go through this all the time. I go, oh man, my knees hurt, my hips hurt. I go, oh, you need new shoes, asshole. You know. So I ordered some new shoes off of online yesterday. I'm waiting for those to come, so maybe that'll be the thing. But yeah, it's just lower back. It's like, Jesus Christ. I go to stand up, it's just like, ah.
Have you thought about switching back to wrestling boots when you do make the appearances? Because so I was an amateur wrestler, and I wore the wrestling shoes that you wear.
Yeah.
But there's really no like support in those.
Nah.
Have you considered, like, if you could do like the wrestling boots, you could put like an insole type deal? And I mean, I know you're not working, 6 nights a week, but is that something that you've considered?
I know the amateur shoes are what I've been doing predominantly most of my career, other than my first year when I
guess
was
so. You really have.
wrestler. Yeah. And then, like, I went to ECW. I was like, well, my character doesn't look like it should be wearing wrestling boots. Mm-hmm. So I started wearing those, and these were the boots of the 90s, the fucking Magnum boots. Those black boots that kind of look like wrestling boots, but they had, like, the regular, soles underneath,
Yeah, I got stomped in the corner by those a few times.
Yeah.
I don't know how comfortable they were to be wearing them, but they were not comfortable to be worn out by them. So
no, well, they felt great, but just, it wasn't fun to be kicked by them. But and then after that, I was like, fuck, around maybe 2000-ish. I started switching over to the. Well, no, I'm sorry, I'm lying. In ECW, I had a run with amateur shoes, and then I tried to do these like Doc Martin looking things because they were blue, and those were the worst. Those, like, wearing those were fucking torture on my knees and back. So I was like, I gotta get rid of these fucking things. And those boots are the boots that are in the video game.
Okay.
But then eventually I'd say, fuck, I'd just go back to amateur shoes.
Well, now you also have those boots with the airbrush, like the flames on them, right?
Yeah, I went back to boots like 99. I was like, let me get some boots to get them airbrushed. I got them behind me. Can't see them from this angle. Let me see. I'll do this for the Patreon folks.
There they are, right up there next to
they're
next to head.
Yeah, and that's authentic head from the ECW arena.
Oh, wow.
So this is the stuff you pay for, folks. Me pointing to a pair of boots.
It's cool though, man.
Yeah. I wore those for a little bit, and then I think I just went back to the amateur shoes.
Were those boots were during like the I always thought of them as like devil meanie, where you had like the like the face paint that came up as like
it
was like little horns. Was that the time period when you had the?
Yeah,
okay,
that was definitely that time period. It's when Jim Ross released me and said, go away, come back with a fresh coat of paint. I was like, well, fuck, let me redo my paint.
Yeah,
see, maybe that's what it meant. I don't know. So I was like, I started experimenting and doing that, and it's like I got the new boots, got them airbrushed. But a little secret, if you're an aspiring pro wrestler and you want to look taller, get a lower cut boot. So that's why I kind of start wearing the amateur shoes. I was like, if you wear a small lower cut boot or shoe, it makes your legs look longer in photos and stuff like that.
He's actually only 5'6".
Yeah,
you see him in there, and you would never know
it. But yeah, guys like Dean Malenko had a lower cut boot. Mr. Perfect, who's super tall, still had a lower cut boot, and he did the thing where if you back in the day, you see the boots, the back would like swoop up into a point.
Mm-hmm.
He did the reverse where the front would swoop down to the back, so you could see more of his calf and have a longer leg and look taller.
Huh.
So it's just little things you can do cosmetically to trick the camera.
Interesting.
To make yourself look taller. So I was like, you know what? Let me get some a lower cut boot and look a little bit taller, and just little things you learn.
The first boots that I got from High Spots back in the day, they were tall. They were like tall, not like Sid Vicious tall boots, but they were like, but they were pretty tall, and I didn't realize how tall they were really going to be. So years later, when I guess it was probably when I was in, it was right before I went to OVW, I got shorter boots. And the only reason I got the shorter boots was not to look taller, but because I was sick of tying. I was like, well, if I cut them in half, I don't have to tie my boots. Like it cuts 50% of the time off of how long it takes me to tie my boots. So I did that, but so I honestly, I think I looked better with the shorter boots. I thought everything kind of like it suited my body more, made everything look more proportionate. Other than the long boots, then now that I think about it, I never thought about it before, but now by the time you saw my leg, I had this like tiny little part of my leg showing where you're just, so that's really interesting. James Sorensen of Sorensen level says, I thought Meanie was 5'9", 5'10". I'm being serious. I'm going to be honest with you. I would have put Meanie at probably around maybe like 6 foot in my mind prior to ever meeting you. Because, again, I mean, Blue Meanie's in there standing next to, The Rock. Like it's all rather. But how tall are you? You're a lot taller than.
I'm saying about 6'6'1".
Are you?
Yeah. And what's that?
Man. Okay, so then I was right.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just so short.
Well, no, I forget how tall. I just forget how tall I am until I see a photo of me next to somebody else.
Yeah.
Who I thought was like close to my height, and I go, "Oh shit, I'm way taller than that."
Well, that's
person.
the thing. I mean, looking at 5'9", 5'10", what Sorensen was saying, like at first I was just like, come on. And then I'm thinking about it, and I guess that kind of makes sense. You're in there. How tall's Al Snow? He's not that tall in the wrestling business.
I don't know. Next time I go to 7-Eleven, I'll stand next to that height thing at the fucking door and just go, oh.
But, I mean, you were there during the Attitude Era. Yeah. You're there during the Attitude Era with some really, that was still, WWE was just, they had very tall, very, big guys. And,
big guy.
So, but honestly, when I guess I don't really know Well, I didn't think 5'9", 5'10", because I knew you were taller than that, but I don't know. Honestly, now I'm kind of surprised with this 6'1" thing, because like I would have been like, oh yeah, Meanie's probably actually like 6'3", 6'4". Like, dude, you look huge in real life.
I've never really officially taken a measurement, so to speak.
Well, not of your full body.
No, and even that is short work.
Oh,
No, it's just something I never really thought of. You know, I never did the whole, you know, when you're a kid, stand next to the door and mark it off, and then measure it and
that's
write your
because
age.
you're tall. When you're my size, I swear to God, I literally used to bargain with the doctor when you're a kid, and they would be like, well, he's around here on the height chart, and so we're projecting. I remember, I don't think they still do this, but they would like project what your height would be, like what they think you're going to be based on the pattern in which you're growing. And first of all, they used to say I was going to be like 5'9", 5'10", which did not happen. Although, in fairness, I do have a ton of neck issues. I have a fused vertebrae in my neck. I've got like it's all screwed up. So I believe that my neck was actually I was supposed to be taller. Like I actually even have a crease in the skin in my neck because I think I was born with the appropriate amount of skin for a longer neck. that has always been my theory on it. It's really just a fat roll, but I that's what I tell myself. But I used to argue and be like, do you think it could be like more like 6 foot? And like the doctor would explain to me, like, listen, you can barter as much as you want here. That's not going to change anything, but I wanted to be a wrestler. And also you have to remember, this is back in the day, especially back in the 80s and 90s. You know, you had your guy who was 5'11" was coming to the ring at 6'1", you know? He's a $185 in real life, and he's 232 pounds or whatever. And you're as a kid going like, how the hell am I going to get to 232 pounds, you know?
They definitely padded the stats back then. Pro wrestling measurements, you know.
Well, then you got like Jericho's boots. Like, you know, it's pretty apparent. Like Jericho's boots are those soles. They're like Kane. And Kane was the biggest joke because the only reason Kane ever needed that was because of what he was doing with The Undertaker. Because it's not like in any other scenario, Kane needs to, you know, pad the boots there.
I wonder what that would be like to wrestle in boots that fucking with the sole that thick, you know.
You know what boots I always wondered what it would be like to wrestle in? The Goon.
What? Oh, those are a couple of ankle breakers right there. Man.
I even as a kid, knowing nothing about pro wrestling other than just being a fan, I looked at that and was just like, he's going to break his ankle. Like, this is not good. Yeah. How is he doing that?
It's horrible. I get the willies just thinking of it. Just like, oh, you know, you think of like the Sid like leg break and stuff like that, you know. I was expecting to see that every week with the Goon with those wrestling boots with the shaved down.
I'd love to see them in person. Like sometimes, like I wondered, like, was it actually like a regular boot and like his foot actually went further down and it was like built up above his foot, so it had the appearance. And if it wasn't that way, it probably should have been that way. But you know what I mean? Like where he would like sit into it so it looked from the outside like that was the sole. But in actuality, it was just like an aesthetic.
Dude, that and, Kerry Von Erich had the prosthetic boot.
Oh, that's a whole other... man.
And shout out to B&A Boots who made those boots. It was a guy named Bill Ash who made all the boots back in the day. I mean, back in the day when you wanted gear, you go to K&H for your tights and trunks and all that stuff. For boots, you went to BA Boots. And there's Bill. BA was for Bill Ash.
Bill Apter?
Yeah. And K&H was Carl and Hildegard. Those were the gear makers.
Wow.
And when Kerry lost his food, yeah, fatty like a foodie over here.
It was that one time somebody took his food at catering and he's like, the fuck, I'm getting new boots.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them.
But, Bill Ash went and made him that prosthetic boot, and it's amazing that, he was able to. I kind of wish Kerry Von Erich would have just said, hey, I lost my foot, and still wrestled on it, and then he could have been like a hero, you know, just to so many people. But
the rumor is that he was just incredibly self-conscious of. I mean, had people known the quality matches he was putting out with a prosthetic foot, like you said, he would have been a hero. Like, holy crap! It's Bill Ash, man, the George Napolitano of wrestling boot makers. Man, Travis asked a question, but I'm actually going to save that question for Ask Meanie later on. It'll circle back to what we're talking about, but I just want to save it. It's a good one. But yeah, man. Hey, speaking of the Goon, he's got a figure coming out for from Mattel, a WWE figure. So I'm just saying, not that you don't have enough action figures coming out, including, of course, the Mind of the Meanie 2-pack figures, which I want to circle back to that in 1 minute. But I'm looking at that, and here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Goon signed a deal with the WWE, and they are releasing a figure of him.
Yeah.
There needs to be a Blue Meanie action figure by Mattel.
Dude, I don't know what the deal is, man.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you slide into Jeremy Padowar's DMs from Jazzwares, who does the AEW figures, and you say, who had said before that he wished there were more Blue Meanie figures, right?
Yeah, he had one point say, I wish I had done one back in the day.
So I say,
hey, I kind of worked for AEW, so that
slide into his DMs. And you say, so I don't know if you noticed that there's a Goon figure coming out. So clearly everyone is fair game over to sign a Legends deal with Mattel and WWE. I honestly don't know how the process works, so I'm just kind of pontificating. But you slide in there and you say, but I'd really love, since I just appeared on AEW more recently, I'd really love that. Just throwing it out there because I'd rather you guys get to have it instead of WWE, and just kind of all that stuff. Then you circle back to WWE and go, Jazzware has been kind of talking to me about doing a figure, but I'm a WWE guy, and to me, I'd love to get a WWE figure.
And with the AEW figure, I could have that AEW shirt that everybody's been asking about. So, on
that's
the figure.
True.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they weren't just like, hey, let's do a short run of these. And by short run, I mean not a short run because they're print on demand. So I'm really surprised they didn't take advantage of that. It's like
dropped hints.
I know it's like found money.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's literally, what is it, like 5 seconds for the people who create their T-shirts? Like that's not knocking the T-shirt at all. The T-shirt was amazing. But it's a relatively simplistic logo comparatively to like these insane like graphic works of art that they put on T-shirts. It would take their guys like 5 seconds to throw that together, and then they're just going to make it's just profit. It's all profit.
I could just send them the file.
You send them right, even better. You just literally send them the file. It's the time for them to open the email
and just put it on Pro Wrestling Tees and. Ta-da! Just whatever. But
unfortunately, you can't.
What do I know?
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't sell it yourself, obviously, because it's AEW. But I've had that situation with. I can't tell you how many people, even people working for the companies, who have looked at my ties at events and been like, "Dude, you should be selling those. People would buy them." And I'm always just like, "Yeah, but I'm pretty sure AEW is going to be like, hey, you can't sell that full gear tie."
Right. Right.
But
which doing the proper thing,
Yeah. Which excited to watch Full Gear. We're recording this on a Saturday. That's tonight. I will not be there. I've had a lot of people ask me, which I guess nobody listening to this cares because they're listening to this on a Monday. So, but I had a lot of people asking, but no, I am, believe it or not, so busy that it was kind of like I think we just won't go for this. So, no, but I'm excited to see it. I think it's gonna be a really good show.
I agree. Definitely gonna be a great show.
Yeah. Shout out to TMZ for covering my interview with Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Great guy.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah,
Thank you.
I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really. I remember one person was like, "Man, did you think you'd be on TMZ?" And I'm kind of like, "Well, I was smartened up," but so yeah, I did kind of think. But prior to being smartened up, nope. No, I mean, all kidding aside, I was like, "Holy crap, man!" Like that's, and it was amazing because like what better? I tweeted this out where I was like, I think I'll frame it because if there's one thing I want my kids to walk in my office and see, it is that picture of me on the cover of on the front page of TMZ with the MJF calls mom a dumb, disgusting slut. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to frame that.
You don't want them to reciprocate that.
Yeah, right. Oh God.
or do the thing where you put the little pixel over the word. Just...
Oh man, but no, it's been cool doing that stuff. I know we're getting off topic, but yeah.
No. You got do you get a lot of hits for that? Well, I'm gonna say was your social media on the photo or the video?
So my social media wasn't on the. So I got a lot from like when Fight would retweet it, and they tagged me in things. I had that little bump. Like every once in a while, like my social media, I'll get like when I do one of like the big events. Like had I been at AEW tonight, I probably would have walked away with like 50 new followers or something because it's just kind of like what happens. Like people just see it and then they think to themselves, "Oh, I wonder maybe I should be following this guy," and then. Yeah, and then they delete me, but no, like it got it's interesting. Somebody had asked me like what type of play I've been like, have I been getting like a great response and all of that, and what I said was from like a fan standpoint, not like a ton, like the people who already know me and are already fans have been, reached out and were like, "Oh man, that's so cool. And congratulations on the TMZ thing." And, which is awesome. It means a lot and I appreciate it. But really in general, it was more the, behind the scenes people, like the people at Fight and Triller and TMZ even like, and that to me from a career standpoint is very important. I'm not going to say more important because I mean, better than anybody. Without fans wanting to watch your stuff and support your stuff, you're just a guy, yelling into a camera. So it's so I'm never gonna say it's more important, but from a career standpoint, it's it's very important that I got like that people were happy with what I did, and so that was nice. But yeah, but it's cool. It's definitely one of those things. TMZ is one of those things like, and I'm sure you've experienced this. Like for me, there's like these different levels of like a wrestling fan will always appreciate something, right? Like they'll appreciate like, "Oh, cool, you're at the AEW pay-per-view." A non-wrestling fan is like, "All right, Josh is doing whatever that wrestling stuff, whatever," But there was like little things like when I did the thing at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Well, now you have tennis fans who don't know anything about wrestling, but they know what Arthur Ashe Stadium is. And they're like, what were you doing at Arthur Ashe Stadium? That's really cool. Not caring what it is I was doing, but just the fact that I was working at a stadium they're familiar with. So it's stuff like TMZ where, again, like I had people like neighbors and stuff commenting like, "I didn't know you did," like stuff that would get picked up by TMZ. I'm like, well, I didn't know either, but but yeah, that's a cool thing. I did talk to Peter Rosenberg.
Nice.
And because a friend of mine smartened me up that they played a clip of that interview on Cheap Heat on Rosenberg's podcast, and and Rosenberg was like, yeah, there's an interview with a guy as a podcast or something on Fight, and he kind of like and he played the thing. And Rosenberg and I have talked a number of times. We've been actually trying to work out doing an interview together. But I sent him a text. I'm like, hey, man, I'm like that. First of all, I was like, hey, Meanie's a huge fan of your work. And then I specifically on the A&E documentaries.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then I said, no, but I said to him, I was like, hey, someone sent me this thing. That was me. And he was like, oh, shit. He's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't give you a shout. I'm like, dude, I don't care about that. I'm like, I just clearly realized you had no idea. You didn't put two and two together that the guy who was doing the one thing was this guy that you've talked to a bunch of other times. So, so there has been a lot of that. And honestly, that's kind of my place in it. Like I can have a little more fun with things like the Cardona interviews and stuff where I get to be a little bit more of like a character and stuff. But realistically speaking, I'm not there to put myself over. I'm there to get them over, whether it's a character or or whether it's the Bryan Danielson interview. Like no one should have walked away from that Bryan Danielson interview talking about me, unless you're in the industry of wanting to hire a interviewer. Then I'd like them to maybe like notice me, but otherwise it's not about me. So, but it's been, I don't even remember what you asked. I was just putting myself over a little bit here.
Just see if you got a little bumpski from it.
Yeah, and I got a little one. But I guess most importantly, Fight got a big one. So, they were happy with that. And
that's the daddy money right there.
That's it.
Daddy money.
That's it. Fights. That's a whole lot of like anything that I do. I'm just like, well, if they like it, like, I try to do my best, but it's like anything people talk about with like Vince McMahon, where they go, oh, they're playing to everyone who works there is playing to an audience of one, Yeah. That's kind of like a job in general. If you really think about it, like, I don't care what you do. Like your job is you I don't know, you clean the floor at a restaurant, right? Like as long like your goal is not really that you clean that floor the way that the wait staff likes or the way that the patrons like. It's whoever your boss is, you want them to walk out and go, I did a great job cleaning that floor. Like that's it. Like you're hoping that you've pleased everyone. But at the end of the day, your job is to please that one person that employs you. And which is why I always kind of laugh when people are like, oh, everybody writes this stuff just for Vince McMahon to like it and they don't care about the fans. It's like, I don't think it's that they don't care about the fans. I think it's that if the fans are like, we love that, and Vince is like, I hate that, well, those fans aren't going to pay your bills,
Right.
Not that WWE would fire people.
No. But, WWE's trying to... Their thing is they try to go for the broad audience where the people who, I mean, they're not going to placate to the hardcore fans because the hardcore fans will always be there. They're not going anywhere. We have a built-in audience that's not going anywhere. How can we get? And I'll borrow this phrase from Al Snow, who's in the green room. We'll have him in a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, Al's coming. Al's on his way.
But, Al framed it perfectly. They want Mr. and Mrs. Walmart, the casual fan who's just like flipping from, whatever shows, they're watching their favorite show. Oh, there's a commercial. Let's see what's on the other channel real quick. And then they see this wrestling and what can we do to capture their imagination and make them stay on our programming? So,
and it's like that.
That's what, No, me and you were about to say the exact same thing. That's, that's how it is with about, all TV shows.
It is. I remember I had it was an acting class, one acting class I was taking years ago. And which, by the way, anyone who is pursuing a career as a broadcaster or interviewer or anything like that, an acting class, even if you have no goal of being an actor, there are things I learned in that I still utilize. In doing this, because it's your face on camera, so it's there's a lot that you can still use. And And then I'm sure there's a bunch of things I ignore, but that I could probably get a brush up on. But the class, I remember the teacher talking about something about, like, because we were having a conversation about, like, some show had just gotten canceled. And everyone was like, oh, man, like, that was such a good show. Like, why did it get canceled? And he had said, like, I forget how he described it, but it was like the people in like middle America, like sitting there, like they're not big, like they're not from a big metropolitan area. They're not, and they're just the ones flipping through the channel, and they want a show that they can zone out and enjoy. And it is what it is. Yeah. They don't want to think, and they don't want to, like, they're not trying to, they don't want to walk away with like, oh, they made a great statement on this, issue in society. Whatever. They just want something. So sometimes you have this show that's really good where you go like, man, that you walk away going like, man, I'm going to be thinking about that for days. And sometimes that's the kiss of death because you're thinking about it for days. And there's two problems with that. Number one, people just want to be entertained. They don't want to be thinking about it for days. And number two, how do you jump in on the next episode when you didn't see the one before? And that's the thing with pro wrestling. You should be able to turn on pro wrestling and always kind of jump in.
Yeah.
But, anyway.
Unless you're a completist like me and you had to, I got to start from the beginning and watch it all the way through.
Which is tough, which has been really tough with there's a lot of stuff going on. It's why strictly from a fan enjoyment level, a lot of the people who got released from WWE, look, as a person, I hate it. I hate to see anybody lose their job. As a fan, there was part of me that was like, well, all right, because I hadn't watched in a little bit, and I didn't know what the hell was going on with this character. So, all right, I guess I don't need to worry about that anymore. Which again is not. I'd rather them have a job than make my life easier. But
yeah, sometimes that job can make them miserable. So they get. Some people will be devastated they got released, and then some people will be like, thank Christ. Yep. Thank God I'm out of that place. I got released the second time. They wink, wink, released me the first time, and then they released me the second time. I kind of popped. Yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Just they weren't doing anything with me.
Well, that's the thing. You came back. Anyway, It's like, okay, here we go. All right, I'm back. The fans really wanted me. They saw the fans really wanted me. Let's rock and roll. And then... Yeah, they kind of knew that, so I go, maybe that's why they sent me to Memphis, out of sight, out of mind. So when they released me the second time, it's a little bit quieter. But these are the things that pro wrestlers think about, the reason why, whether it's true or not, But something else that I think is really important for the people who were released, who are bummed out about it, to look at is you were released. What year were you released the second time?
2000.
You were released in 2000. Not only did you have an additional run with the company in the BWO 5 years later or so, but 21 years later, you were walking out to a huge pop on AEW. Yeah. 21 years later, you have been a consistent presence for MLW.
Yes.
It's something that I think is a great lesson to a lot of people who are released. And you're like, well, crap, that's it. It's like, no, man, 2 decades later, people are still popping for the Blue Meanie to come out. And he hadn't really worked full time in 21 years at WWE.
Yeah.
Not that you left WWE and then it was like Blue Meanie disappeared, but that's kind of my point. You left WWE and you didn't disappear.
Right.
And, you continued to work, you continued to be there. And I think you've seen so many people now who've been released in the last few years since they really started doing these massive cuts. And I think people should really see that, like, the opportunity's there for you to make something of yourself.
It's about creating opportunities and stuff like that. And, that's the worst thing, out of sight, out of mind, but thank God for social media. Thank God for this podcast. Where we build a community and stuff like that, to where it piques other people's interest to want to have me on their programming, like MLW or AEW, stuff like that. I guess the hat trick would be if I did one more thing with WWE, if they were ever in town. but I'm a cheap date. So
I look forward to finding out after the fact. No, I you know what? And I hope it happens for you. As a friend, I hope it happens for you because that would just be really cool. But I hope it happens for you because I think you've had a really cool story. Which is part of why in the very beginning I wanted to do the podcast with you. Because I just think your story is interesting in the sense of like I said before, like how long it has been since you were in WWE, but all the things you did to remain relevant in the wrestling business and all. And I do think that would be kind of like the cherry on top. But then the concern with the cherry on top is, and it's like, all right, well, that's it. Yeah. What else do you put on? What else? You don't put anything on top of the cherry, No. So
you brush your teeth.
You know what? So then you just got to eat the whole damn Sunday and start over again. So
yeah. And then you start wearing Daisy Dukes and a half shirt. But it's I've been very fortunate, to do the stuff I've been doing. Considering just it's just doing indies and stuff like that. But I've had this little bit of a resurgence. With the action figure lines, the appearances with MLW, AEW, stuff like that, and I'm sitting here next to a cabinet, a Retromania wrestling cabinet that has my face on it. A company was kind enough to think I was worth that investment. So
they're gonna post a compilation, I believe, of everybody who they ran a thing over Retromania. I think it's done. I think
I will be getting together with Mr. Mike Herman from RetroSoft Studios, and we will be recording my reactions to.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're going to a studio next Friday to record these. My reaction to the Meanie Dance videos, and I get to pick who I think did the best. Who I think did the best Meanie Dance video.
I mean, it's just. It's been a lot of fun to watch some of those.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they did that, somebody's going to earn their opportunity to be in the game in the BW arena there.
Yes.
Just so cool, man. It's so, this has been you've been able to do a lot. And one of those things was the action figures, and I want to talk about those. You are first of all, you're in Series 1 and Series 2 of the Cello Toys thing, which is pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But I want to talk about the Mind of the Meanie 2-pack action figures. Everybody listen up.
Yes.
This is important. Time is running out for you to get them. There has been a lot of interest in the UK where we sold out, and a deal is being put together where a lot of what we have left will be sold to the UK. It's a broad statement, but the United Kingdom itself is purchasing Mind of the Meanie action figures. But
God save the Queen.
Yeah.
God save the Meanie.
So what that means is the figures that we have on hand are going to cut in half in the next week or so. Unless you buy them now and then, I guess we don't have as many to sell, but This is it. So what I'm telling you is this. We have 8 signed left, okay? There are 8 figures, 8 signed 2-packs left. We are about to get rid of, we have some damaged packaging ones, which some of the damaged packaging, honestly, you'd probably just display and not even realize they're damaged, but it was for us. We just felt like we couldn't sell it, knowing that there's a big crease in one corner or something. We're we'll give you a couple bucks off, and especially if you're somebody who just wants to open them anyway, save a couple bucks, get the damaged ones. But we are not going to sign the damaged ones, because we can't sell mint on card signed figures that the card is damaged. So you've got like, I don't know, a couple weeks to get your signed ones, and that's it. Because the ones we're going to sell are not the damaged ones. There aren't that many damaged ones left anyway, but the ones that we're going to sell are not the damaged ones, and we have about half the amount of damage in the non-damaged, if any of that makes sense. I don't know the exact numbers, so I'm kind of just like skirting around it, but pretty much, here's the thing. If you want signed Mind of the Meanie 2-pack, order now. Because, yeah, you're going to want to be able to save a little bit of money when we do a Black Friday sale and a Cyber Monday sale. But we're only doing that sale if the figures are still here. So, yes. Unfortunately, while I would love for you to wait, we can't guarantee that if you wait to get that percentage off, that there's going to be any figures. And it's looking like there aren't going to be. And part of the deal of why we're sending back to the UK is because they originally wanted to do a restocking where they would have made another batch of the figures. And what we told them was, we don't want to do that because we believe that part of what makes them worth something is that limited run. If you purchased and you have a Mind of the Meanie 2-pack mint on card and you're proud of having that mint on card, this exclusive 2-pack, we don't want to make it less by having them make just another run. Like, yeah, you'd still have the original run, whatever, but I just feel like if there was going to be another Mind of the Meanie 2-pack, which it doesn't look like there's going to be, but if there was going to be another Mind of the Meanie 2-pack, I'd want it to be different. I'd want, Meanie's wearing a different shirt. I'm wearing a different suit. Like, so this is it. The ones that there are here, this is it. So hopefully you guys will buy them because they're going to sell anyway. We're not doing a hard sell here. They're going to sell. I know that they're going to sell. We have orders that have come in. But if you're listening to this podcast, then I know that you are a fan of the show. I want you to get those figures if you want them. So act now. Go get them. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then get excited for Meanie's PWO figure.
Hurry. Yeah, man. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Any idea when that's coming?
Not yet. They just put up a graphic for Series 2, so it's going to be interesting. And with mine, they're going to do a run of me with the painted-on Scott Hall mustache, and then they're going to do a run of me without the mustache. So they're doing. They're really good at making things collectible.
Yes,
and I want them all.
I still think there is a market for a repaint. Maybe you should suggest this to them. Because the one thing that they don't really have is modern day Blue Meanie. We have modern day Blue Meanie and a Mind of the Meanie shirt.
Yes.
But you don't wear a white Mind of the Meanie shirt when you wrestle. No. So this new one coming out is old school BWO haircut and smaller goatee and the BWO shirt. But what we need is the repaint of the Mind of the Meanie mold.
Yeah.
With the BWO shirt. Like, so that's, which honestly is, I can tell you as someone who has gotten a repaint of from the Mind of the Meanie 2-pack of myself, they're all for it. They're all about doing that because it is way cheaper to produce those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a new card backing and some new deco, but that's it. Like you could do the thing right now where like I've been wearing the BWO barbed wire shirt, a lot. So well, that's the thing. They could put out, like you said, how they have some with the makeup, the Scott Hall, and then some without.
Yeah.
I'm saying another one where it's modern day Blue Meanie, but some of them are barbed wire. I mean, maybe it's like 50 of them are barbed wire.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you could have a BWO Japan shirt that is sold exclusively in Japan or something. I don't know. There's a lot, and it's what's really exciting as a collector and exciting, like I look at that and I go, because I know now, knowing the behind the scenes of like the process to make those figures, the majority of that process is the creation of the mold. It, like, the majority of the cost, I should say, is the creation of the mold. I mean, they're making it's but that's already been done. And they now also have, they now have a mold from like the current day and old school Meanie. So even the old school Meanie that's going to have the BWO shirt and one's going to have the beard and one's not going to have the beard. Like, there's still, we just talked about the Blue Meanie with the horn thing and the flames on the boots with the Hello Meanie, airbrush shirt or whatever.
Yes.
Like, there's so many opportunities. It's just that same mold. I'm excited for this, man. If you don't walk away with 15 figures by the end of the year.
Dude, it's exciting. The nerd in me is just overjoyed.
But people will display. I don't personally do this, but I've seen a lot in like the Major Wrestling Figure podcast community and everything. People will show their display, and they display figures based on like time period. So like, I remember like one time they were talking about it, and then I contacted them. I was very proud to contact Matt and Brian and say, like, wait, you can't do this. There's a King Kong Bundy figure coming out, and he had the old school shirt, like his graphic tee from like the 80s. And they put that, and that was it. And they're like, well, where can you display this? Can you display this in your 80s display case? And then a lot of people have their like new generation display case where he came back. And so the thought was like, well, you get two of them. One, you put the t-shirt on, you display it in the 80s. The other one, you take the t-shirt off and you display it in the new generation. And I said, not so fast.
Oh.
Because in the new generation, he had eyebrows. And they looked at that and they said, oh, damn. No, this is not a new generation figure then. This is absolutely... And I think they missed the boat on releasing this figure, because he should have had... A lot of them have like multiple heads, like of different expressions. They absolutely should have released the King Kong Bundy. One head has no eyebrows, one head has eyebrows, and then they have... And that's it. Now you've got a King Kong Bundy for both. And then people look at that and they go, oh, son of a bitch, I got to buy two because I have to put them on display. My point is, with this mold, Meanie, I mean, you can...
The mold of the Meanie.
The mold of the Meanie. You've got the mold of the Meanie. You can, like, people could look at that and be like, okay, so who is this? Oh, this one is... Dude, all they got to do is the head with the spiky hair, and there's your 2005 era, BWO. Yeah. Dude... There's so many opportunities because you fit into the Ruthless Aggression era. You fit into the ECW era. You fit into the Attitude era. And then there's modern day Meanie. Like, there's a lot of figures they can make.
They could do the Sir Meanie, since Cello Toys is based out of the UK, where I had the Union Jack wrist tape.
Oh, man.
And stuff like that. I just found a really good photo of that with the powdered wig.
Dude, you need to be pitching that. You need to be pitching that to them because they will be all about that.
Yeah.
They are such fans of yours as it is that, like, I feel like more you just go like, Meanie, you need to do another. You need to do another one of these. That would be fun. They would jump at it.
And the back on the family crest on the back was a plate with a knife and a fork. And then Stevie's was a chicken and a guy doing karate or something like that, or I don't know, something goofy. But that'd be perfect. That'd be awesome.
James Sorensen says the mold of the Meanie should be the name of the episode today.
Yeah, write it down.
I'm writing it down. That's it. You did it, James.
The King Kong Bundy action figure comes complete with Mr. Fuji's razor. To shave his eyebrows off.
Oh man. Is that why he didn't have eyebrows? I thought that was just
sure. No, he probably fell asleep on the flight and they shaved his eyebrows off. There's the one Lightning Kid action figure thing where on the package he has no eyebrows
because that was his first promo pictures that they did.
I don't know if it was the Smoking Guns who cut it off his eyebrows. But then he went and put...
Yeah, there's a whole story with it where he No, someone else... I think it was Kurt Hennig did it.
Oh, okay.
And he thought it was the guns, so he crazy glued... Or something. There was something where, he retaliated to someone that it wasn't. And found out, 20 years later that it wasn't them. Yeah.
Same with Kurt Hennig when he ribbed the Bulldogs and he made them think it was the Rougeaus and fucking...
Oh...
Dynamite Kid went in and started to fight with, Jacques Rougeau.
Yeah.
And then that led to Jacques Rougeau loading up with a fistful of quarters and punching his teeth out,
yep.
At SummerSlam, or one of those. I don't know if it was SummerSlam, but.
No, not a good
crazy.
Good then there's there was the Rougeaus versus the Bushwhackers with the How's Your Father?
And, I was in attendance for that.
Yep.
that was WrestleMania 4.
Oh, man. Good times.
And then there was the Royal Rumble where I tickled Droz and Edge as they're trying to eliminate me. I got caught on camera.
Phenomenal.
I know I tickled Droz. I might have pulled out Edge's armpit hair. You just reach up and yank on the armpit hair, and they just let you go real quick. That's another low rib. Somebody put you in the head scissors, and you just reach up and you pluck out their leg hair, and they're just like, "Oh, stop!" Son of a bitch.
Amazing.
Little tricks.
What am I looking up here? Okay.
Yes, dear. Sorry for the sniffles, by the way.
Don't be. Never apologize.
I don't know what it is. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, man. Hey, it's that time of year, dude.
I had to pull my slider all the way down and just do one loud snort. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Why? Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Man. Hey. Speaking of the sniffles. Oh, what the hold on.
The dick sniffles.
Oh, man. Hold on. Bear with me here. This is taking too long.
Paging Mr. Sniffles.
Talk about something else.
Richard Snickle. Paging Mr. Sniffles, Mr. Richard Sniffles.
Oh.
Mr. Trickles, Mr. Richard Trickles.
Hey, Meanie.
Dick Tristle.
I need you to brace yourself.
Oh, hold on.
All right. Close your eyes, open your mouth, because winter is coming. What the writers of Game of Thrones didn't want to tell you is that Bran was actually in a wheelchair because he didn't trim his balls with Manscaped. Poor guy thought it was okay to trim his balls with a traditional razor or hair trimmer. Not sure what you want as a gift for the holidays. Well, Manscaped is the ultimate gift, and they're here to change the men's grooming game. You can get 20% off plus free shipping if you use code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 4.0. The Performance Package 4.0 is the best in the business. The hygiene bundle includes the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, the Boxers, the Travel Kit, and the liquid formulations. The new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is waterproof with advanced skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts, and even has a light to help with your close shave down there. No need to have a red wedding situation next time you're going for a trim. The Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer can help you whack those nasty weeds in your delicate holes. This product also has proprietary skin-safe technology to help prevent nicks, snags, and tugs. The Performance Package also includes Crop Preserver. It's deodorant for your balls to protect against chafing. Also, their Crop Reviver Ball Toner to keep your boys fresh at all times. Maybe you're on the other side of the wall and you don't know when your next shower is? No worries, the Crop Mop Ball Wipes are for you. Have smelly feet? Manscaped can help with that Foot Duster foot deodorant made to fight odors of the dirtiest feet. Meanie, you got that, right?
Oh, of course.
Hey, you want to smell good everywhere? The Refined Cologne by Manscaped is a clean and fresh scent designed for the refined gentleman. On top of everything, They've even thrown in the Shed travel bag to carry your goods and the Manscaped anti-chafe boxer briefs to hold the entire package together. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. During the winter, you may be spending more time inside with your balls. Might as well make them beautiful. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Meanie20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code Meanie20. It's time to join the Manscaped movement. These products are no joke. Wow. And thank you to Manscaped. Man, Manscaped still here going strong, taking care of your balls.
Dude, they blindsided me. You blindsided me with that opening line there.
I may have I may have added part of that myself. Hey, so you want to ask Meanie anything?
I would love to.
Let's do it.
It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Alrighty. So let's see what kind of questions we have. First, we're going to go to the questions that were left here. That were left here by our Patreon members. So let's see what we've got here. James Sorensen writes, could we ever see the Blue Ties compete in the Monster Factory and win the tag team championships? It doesn't look likely. I guess you never say never, but it doesn't look likely. Although I have 1 day down of training with Matt Mangle. And hey, if you want to train with Matt Mangle, send an email on over to ptunlocked@gmail.com. He's going to be doing some cool stuff pretty soon. Going to be announcing his own Patreon and with a lot of great opportunities to do some remote training. So if you're not in the greater Philadelphia area, that's okay. You can still go. So cheap plug for him.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't say a cheap plug. Pretty much he's training me so that I will plug him. No, but he's very good at what he does. And guess what? You can also talk some wrestling with him. Here's a question. Travis writes, would wrestling with the Iron Sheik curled toe make it more difficult? Go to you on that, Meanie. I don't think so, right?
Nah, that's just aesthetic.
Yeah, maybe getting in and out of the ropes. You could theoretically get hung up, but James Sorensen writes, hey Josh, loved your episode on Top Guy Theater. Can you explain Top Guy Theater to Meanie? He also had a follow-up here, which was, how would you explain Top Guy Theater with Meanie? I listened to your episode of that and especially loved it from 1 hour, 8 minutes and 45 seconds to 1 hour, 17 minutes. Well, I have no idea what happened at 1 hour, 8 minutes and 45 seconds to 1 hour and 17 minutes. How would I explain it to Meanie? Pretty much it's pretty much like a watch along. The guys over there, they were fun. They let me pick a bunch of matches and I picked a bunch of Bret Hart SummerSlam matches, and we watched that and just kind of talked about them or talked about wrestling in general. So it was fun. They're fun.
Nice.
Fun show over there. I appreciated them having me on. If you get the opportunity, Meanie, I'd say take it.
Awesome.
But James, thanks for watching. I guess let me know what happened in that time frame there, because now I'm kind of curious.
As someone who doesn't even know what we talk about on our own goddamn
podcast. Right. I have no idea. I barely even remember doing this show we're actively doing right now. James also asked, Meanie, when you were constantly in ring, where was your weight right around at?
I don't know. It fluctuated. My heaviest was probably 390. And then I got down, right now I'm at like 320. So
When was 390? Like, at what time would you have been?
That was an era I did not give a fuck.
Oh, man.
No, ECW-ish. And then once me and Nova start having our run, I kind of, start losing weight. I got down to about 340, maybe. I lost about 50 pounds. I was working out with John Cronus in the gym and stuff like that, and trying to eat better. Yeah. Eating tuna and rice every day. Just doing what I had to do to shed some weight, and it start paying off in the ring. Like when me and Nova started tagging after Stevie went to WCW. I know I had to kick my ass into gear a little bit, and like I said, start working out with Cronus in the gym, and then before every show we're in the ring with Tracy Smothers doing drills and stuff like that. So got down about 340.
Ivan Rivers at the Fallen Ivan. Did you ever get into scuffles with punks as a full-on hair metal disciple?
Nah. I was growing up in Atlantic City at the time, and it was like a melting pot of music, I was the metalhead, hair metal guy. There was rap guys. There was... I almost got into a fist fight with somebody because they said Yngwie Malmsteen was better than Eddie Van Halen, and I was about, as close as to a scrap as I got into music. I was like, fuck Yngwie Malmsteen. But that's the only time I would really get like hot under the collar about music, if somebody just took a shit on Van Halen, just because it's the one thing that made me happy. Talk about any other band I like, I wouldn't give a fuck, but that's the one thing that made me happy. And if somebody had something fucking stupid to say, that would piss me off. It's like I feel like I'm cursed in a way.
Yeah.
Growing up loving things I've always had to explain. Why do you like that fake wrestling shit? Why do you like Van Halen? Which singer do you like? What's it fucking matter? Just enjoy
like
what
it.
you enjoy. Yeah, just like it. If so, you don't like what somebody else likes, don't fucking watch. Let people enjoy what they want.
Yep. James Sorensen says that in that time period, I talked about my experience at Top Guy Weekend and talked about James. So okay, that makes sense why you like that part. But that was fun. Hey, Mark and Dryden has like 100 questions for us here. And I might save some. So I do want to just say right now, Ask Meanie is, always one of our favorite
it is
parts of the show. Get your questions in now using the hashtag Ask Meanie, because next week, we are going to be recording 2 episodes of Mind of the Meanie, because over Thanksgiving, it turns out our families would like to be with us. So we are, we're going to make sure that, the Monday after Thanksgiving, you guys still have an episode. And that is going to be a complete Ask Meanie episode, which I'm excited about. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So save up your questions for that. Give us a bunch of questions. So that's what I'm saying with Mark and Dryden. I don't know that I'll even hit all of them, but we'll see what we got here. We'll see. We got a few more minutes here. We don't want to give you guys nothing, but next week, hit us with some stuff for episode. So episode 88 is going to be the Ask Meanie episode. Mark and Dryden, which of these has to go from today's wrestling? Jump starts to matches, so no lockups, no selling everything, endless trading of chops, kicks, and punches, or is there anything else you two can think of?
Yeah, jump starts. When I first started in business, let's just start off hot. Blah, 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 and why? Made no sense. Unless you're in a feud. Like tonight, I expect Punk and Kingston to have a hot start. Everything they've done to lead up to this, if they got in the ring and did a simple lockup, I was like,
That was a big critique that I had many years ago. WrestleMania, it was Triple H and Randy Orton. And they had like a blood feud where this was the one where like, I think like he like broke into Orton's house and like they were having, and Orton had like handcuffed him and then he was like kissing Stephanie. It was like this whole like, this finally the big blow up and they get to this match and they like lock up and start wrestling. I'm like, what? Like this, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I to me, Meanie, it's the, I hate the no selling everything. Because I think it exposed it. If I could get rid of anything, I'd pretty much say if Canadian Destroyer isn't your finish, you're not allowed to use it.
Yeah.
What a vicious move!
Williams, man.
That move when Petey Williams I don't know if he created it, but when I first saw that move and Petey Williams did it, dude, that was just like that was it. You got hit with the Canadian Destroyer, you're done. And I think finishes. People should get pinned by a finish.
It has the word destroy in it.
Mm-hmm.
That should be it.
That should be the end. There should be some moves that are just the whole. It's not that you're. Every once in a while, there's place for that, like 2 3/4 shoulder up, right? But if it's not WrestleMania, like, just don't do it. Like it should. I don't know. We can go off on a whole thing here. But what I will say is if I had to get rid of something, the endless trading of chops, kicks, punches, my issue is, there's some things I hate. People have gone on about, we talked about this before, I think, the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. People loved that match. It was like the greatest match of all time. It was all this, everything. And I just couldn't, I was so out of that match from the spot where they like one kicked the next guy, then that guy kicked the next guy, then that guy kicked the next guy. And it didn't make any sense. Like it was, like they kicked someone, then they got kicked, then someone else got kicked. Like it was so, it took me right out of it. I hate the back and forth, like, there's a time where one guy could just be like, I'm a tough motherfucker, punch me in the face, and he punches him, and he rocks him, he's like, oh shit, then he comes back and punches. You could have that occasionally where it's just two guys who are just like, because that could be real,
like a duel.
Yeah, but I just, in general, like this, like trading back and forth where nothing means anything, and sell like who's
it's like like the fucking chicken fight and fucking Family Guy with Peter and the chicken.
Yeah. Seriously.
Just I don't get that. Okay, I'm going to chop you, and then I'm going to let you chop me. Well, first of all, chops suck. Why would you fucking let... Yeah. Why? It's... What else? Oh, and you brought the super kicks. I love the Bucks. Don't get me wrong. But, you watch UFC and how quick a fucking kick can just knock a guy the fuck out.
Yep. That's been my critique on the super kick party. Everybody loves the super kick party, and to me, if you were putting together a list of who has the worst super kick in the history of pro wrestling, it's got to be the Young Bucks. And people go, "What? What are you talking about? They do really great super kicks." No, it's got to be the worst one because of how many times they have to kick you before you fall down, and that's two of them kicking you multiple times, back and forth, and then kicking you together. Like, to me, that has to be the weakest super kick of all time. Right? Like, that's kind of who has the greatest super kick of all time? Shawn Michaels. Because he hit you with it and you were done.
Well, that's what Jake said with the DDT. He's like, well, everybody else's DDTs look fucking weak because at least I beat my guys with the fucking DDT.
Right. Jake Roberts is the only one who knows how to actually do a DDT.
Yeah.
So that's my feeling on it. Like the Young Bucks, like your super kick is is not devastating. And of course, obviously, I'm talking everything in kayfabe here, but like,
right.
But that's what I'm saying. If we're going on the assumption that what we're watching is real, because we should be going on that assumption within that minute, because we've talked about a million times
That's what
before.
we're trying to sell.
Right. That's what we're trying to sell. I don't want to go to a movie where at the end of imagine if at the end of each scene they left in where the director goes, all right, cut, and then they go to the next scene in a movie. Like, we shouldn't know. We all know it's a movie. Dude, we all know it's fake.
I went to a movie once, and I don't know why this happened. I saw it in the theater, and then they must have cleaned it up for home video. I was watching a movie, Elizabethtown. It was a Cameron Crowe movie. Dude from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp?
No, the other one.
Orlando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom, and I forget who the girl was. But there was a couple scenes where you saw the fucking boom mic in the shot.
Wow.
Like I don't know why or how this happened, but like there's one scene Orlando Bloom's talking, and you see the boom mic over his head, a black boom mic, and then they cut over to who he's talking to, and they go back, and there was a different fucking boom mic over his head, and it was like the most bizarre thing. I'm sitting there theater, and we're just like laughing, like holy shit, you know. And then like I went to look for it on like home video just to see it, and they cleaned it up, they edited it, they tightened up the framework, but holy shit, it wasn't.
Yeah, like pro wrestling.
It takes you right out of it, you know?
I believe pro wrestling should be forgiven more so because it's live. You know, when it's live, of course, it should be forgiven. But, I mean, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're just supposed to be, it's supposed to seem real. Now, some people could argue, okay, well, in the fantasy world of pro wrestling, you know, much like, look, so here's where there's a bit of an argument to some things. If you watch a fight scene in a movie, it is not necessarily how that fight would go in real life.
Right.
So there is something where you can look at it and say, okay, in a real fight, this isn't how, you know, it would go, but okay, it's not a real fight. It's pro wrestling. We're watching it for entertainment. But pro wrestling is its own character. It's its own, you know, it's its own beast. Like you can't.
Universe.
It's its own universe.
Yes.
Well, the last question we're going to do here from Mark and Dryden, and then I'm going to save his two other ones for next week. But what are Meanie's and Josh's favorite Survivor Series matches or moments of all time? And there's a reason that I chose this one, and it's because I am going to do a cheap plug right now for Talking with Friendsgiving. So if you want to know about my favorite Survivor Series moment and my least favorite Survivor Series moment and matches of all time, then you need to tune in to Talking with Friendsgiving. That's brought to you by So Says Shernoff and Talking with Friends, and it is going to be on Fight. That's right, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Fight on Thanksgiving Eve. It's the new Thanksgiving Eve tradition. It's going to be myself, my brother Fred Shernoff, the aforementioned Matt Mangle, and of course Calvin Tan. And Meanie, I did the for you just to
thank you.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that all of you will join us on Fight for that, and have yourself a merry little Thanksgiving Eve with us. So that's where you'll get my answer. But Meanie, favorite Survivor Series match or moment of all time?
Probably Undertaker winning the belt from Hogan, which I think that was the first non-Survivor Series match.
30 years ago this month, it was the Gravest Challenge, the 1991 Survivor Series, and it was the first in Survivor Series short history at that point, because what did they have? 87, 88, 89, 90. So they'd only been around for 5 years. That's how you do math, by the way, with you count with your fingers. They'd only been around for 5 years, so which is an interesting thing, which I do kind of talk about on the show a little bit. But an interesting thing to me. I think when you really look at how we consider like classic Survivor Series matches, Survivor Series had 4 years with only Survivor Series matches in its history.
Yeah.
And the first time that they didn't have that was 30 years ago. So you're talking about 34 years. If I'm doing my math correctly, right? That would be 34 years where only 4 of them were all Survivor Series matches.
Yeah.
But we still long for it.
Yeah. Live from the Richfield Coliseum. You know.
But yeah, so that would be your favorite.
Yeah, that'd definitely be my favorite because I was big in the Taker then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like a dream match, Undertaker Hogan. You know, Undertaker, was doing the Jason Voorhees gimmick where he just sit up, or the Michael Myers just sit up gimmick, and Hogan was good for the hulking up brother. Just it was just it's very intriguing to me, to a young Meanie. That matchup, and then of course Flair gets involved with the putting out the chair for the tombstone on the chair, stuff like that. It was fascinating. And then, of course,
we go in depth on talking with Friendsgiving about the tombstone, because man, it was nowhere near his head. But
yeah, but and then that inspired the follow-up pay-per-view that Tuesday, called This Tuesday in Texas, or whatever that was, where they had the rematch.
Interesting. I was just watching that Survivor Series on the cock, and which honestly, I watch WWE Network stuff probably an eighth of what I used to since it moved to Peacock. It's just such a awful
hard
app. But yeah, the cock's hard, man. The cock is hard.
You said a mouthful.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, so I, for years and years, always referred to it as Tuesday Night in Texas.
Yeah.
And thought it was like this weird Mandela effect when people would say it was This Tuesday in Texas. And I was like, no, it was Tuesday Night in Texas. I remember it being Tuesday Night in Texas. Well, I'm watching Survivor Series, and President Jack Tunney gets on and refers to it and says, Tuesday Night in Texas. It will be, kept referring to it as Tuesday Night in Texas. But I think now looking at it, he was literally telling you Tuesday Night in Texas. Because if you ask me, they probably, when he pre-recorded those things, hadn't come up with a name for the pay-per-view yet. Because even if you remember when at Survivor Series, they're talking about this event and they're like, and we'll have more information as it comes up of how you'll be able to watch this. Like, I don't think they even knew up until like that day that it was going to be on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that it needed a name. So I think it was just calling it Tuesday Night in Texas. They're going to be wrestling in Texas on Tuesday,
They didn't need to do one of those untold stories on that doc, because I love that Untold series WWE does, where they just do like they did the one on Bischoff buying WCW, and they had the conference calls and everything. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking great. Yeah, they didn't need to do one on Tuesday Night in Texas and see.
That was, I remember I was over at
that?
My friend Mark Winheim's house. His dad, by the way, is the one who worked for Prism and got us backstage at the Spectrum.
That's awesome.
But I was over at his house, and him and his brother Justin had they were trying to convince me, because I'm pretty sure that's what, I think I watched it then. They were trying to convince me that wrestlers couldn't really cut promos, and that they were all they figured out that they were voiceovers from like like I don't know why they thought this, but it was Mr. Perfect. And so what happened was I think like the audio was just slightly off.
Right.
And so like they looked at it like, wait a minute. I bet Mr. Perfect isn't even really the voice behind this wrestler. And it was just like, no, like this is very clearly Mr. Perfect and the audio is just slightly off. But I never forgot that. Like that was their theory. That I guess like wrestlers were too dumb to be able to cut promos. But
yeah. That's too funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. Well, thank you everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been another great episode. Next week,
a lot of fun.
If you want a double dose of Mind of the Meanie, if you're saying to yourself, no, I can't wait. I know next week you're going to be recording an Ask Meanie episode, and I have to wait an additional week to after Thanksgiving. No, this seems like it would be a great thing to listen to right after I watch Talking with Friendsgiving on Thanksgiving Eve. Now my Thanksgiving tradition should be Mind of the Meanie. Well, guess what? Go to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, and you'll be able to get it live next week. You'll be able to get 2 episodes. So definitely do that. Join us over there, and join us on social media in general, at Mind of the Meanie, across all boards. Make sure you go to mindofthemeanie.com and order your Mind of the Meanie 2-pack. If you want it signed, or you just want it in good condition and not a damaged package, order it now. Order it this week before they're gone, because they are going to be gone. I don't think there are going to be any figures left after Cyber Monday. That is my prediction. I think that's it. I think after Cyber Monday, they're gone. But we might not even make it to Cyber Monday with these figures. They might be gone before then. Now, full disclosure, Meanie has some in his possession that it has to sell at gimmick tables. But you got to go see Meanie and find him somewhere with these figures. And then when those are gone, they are gone. So get on it. mindofthemeanie.com. Hey, if you haven't in a long time, go give us a 5-star rating over at Apple Podcasts or whatever. You don't even have to listen on Apple Podcasts. Go give us that rating. Give us a review, a good review if you think you earned it. And if you think I talk too much, politely go fuck yourself. Yeah. What else can we do? Oh, yeah. Go to persontees.com/Mind of the Meanie, persontees.com/Blue Meanie, and persontees.com/So Says Shernoff. Meanie, what else?
Go to madcatbeardcare.com.
Yes.
Get yourself some blue spruce. Get your get yourself some nice Blue Meanie beard oil.
You know who just blew himself with that?
Who that?
Andy Slichter just posted on social media.
Yeah, man. Josh from Mad Cat Beard Care reached out and wanted me to personally thank Slichter because he listens to the podcast, and he was touched that he actually went out and bought the products and stuff like that. So, and then even if you don't have a beard, Christmas is coming up. Mm-hmm. You're going to have somebody in your life who's going to want some beard oil and stuff like that. And all the money goes to helping feral cats. So
it's awesome.
Go to madcatbeardcare.com, and then you can also go to brothersgatter.com. I was just talking to those fine folks over at Brother Gatter, and they have the Josh Shernoff and Blue Meanie Wrestle Buddies.
They do. I recently had one that was I had them ship one to me for me to sign for somebody, and then we shipped it out to that person. So that's an option that apparently is there. I was just like, yeah, why not? I was like, if somebody wants my signature on a buddy, send it to me and I will sign it for you. But yeah, man, they're there. They're there. I actually want to get another one because my kids play with the with mine and the Blue Meanie one that I have. But I would like to have one like in my office. I think would be kind of neat. I'm tired of it.
I just got a whole ordered a bunch because I'm doing the Icons of Wrestling convention December 18th at the ECW Arena. So I'll have some of our Mind of the Meanie 2-packs, and I'll have our the Blue Meanie Wrestle Buddy there.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. So definitely go. That's your great opportunity to get that. If you don't want to go to brothersgatter.com, you can just go see Meanie at the convention. Is that at the arena?
Yeah, 2300 Arena.
Very cool. Very cool. What else? Hey, it's that time of year for Cameo, man. Let's hop on some Cameo. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. And I guess Cameo.com/So Says Shernoff. If anybody wants me to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, get on it. But yeah, I'm there. Ready. I'm ready. If anybody wants to hear from me. I'm that guy with a podcast or something on Fight. That should be I want that with like Peter Rosenberg, like, you know, where it's then like dash Peter Rosenberg, like it's in quotes. Like that's his like description of me, even though he didn't know it was me. That guy with a podcast or something on Fight.
Quote
Peter Rosenberg. Yeah, but so definitely check that out. What else, Meanie? What else? Oh, they can go get they can go to SoSaysShernoff.com and get my Fight figure.
Nice.
We still have some of those left. They're sold out in the UK, but I now opened it up, so we just had a mad run in the UK. People just bought them because I opened it up to shipping there. James Sorensen just ordered my blue spruce from Mad Cat Beard. Good on you, James Sorensen. Who are you getting it for? Because, brother, I saw that beard that you grew for Halloween. And it looked a lot like John Cena in the fact that I could not see it. But hey, maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll help with that beard. But yeah, anything else, Meanie?
Yeah, thank you to each and every one of you who join us every week live here on the live stream at patreon.com/mindandme. Thank you to everybody who listens live, live to tape every Monday morning when they that's how old I am. I remember tape. Thank you to everybody who downloads us every Monday morning sharply at 6 a.m. That means a lot. The numbers been looking great. It means a lot. It's a community here that we're building, and it's fun to interact with people. And I've been out and about. Somebody said something to me at ShopRite the other day, and they're like, love the podcast. I said, oh, cool.
Nice.
I caught me off guard. Thank you very much. But it's a really great feeling that folks are listening and making that commitment to our podcast when there's so many different podcasts out there. So thank you very much.
We really do appreciate it. We hope that you enjoyed that and hope that you enjoyed this episode and will join us next week as we return like we do every single Monday for another trip into the mind of the
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.